Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Claire's Collection. Today I'm going to be sharing my 2025 Breyerfest haul with you. I went to Breyerfest for 2 days this year with my husband and I really enjoyed it. I came home with around 40 models, not all traditional, so a lot of them are Stablemate. I came home with one classic, so I'm excited to show them to you all. So I bought 2 all-access tickets this year, which granted me the chance to get 4 special runs. So when I filled out my preference forms, I signed up for 2 surprise horses, Let the Good Times Roll, and Life's a Journey, and I got all my top picks, so I was really excited about that. The variations this year were really interesting. I'm curious to see the run numbers on some of the micro runs, like the Blue Croy and the Silver. I haven't seen very many of those, and then the holographic YOLO. So without further ado, we'll get into the haul. I do want to say I saved about a year for this. This is all my own money. I am an adult and I work, and this is just how I choose to spend my money. So first we're going to start off with my special runs. So up first we have Life's a Journey, which is the collie. He comes with a little bandana that says cheers to 75 years. I don't have any on this mold, but I really wanted one, and so when they used him as a special run this year, I knew I had to get him. I really like him. His paint job is really nice. He's also a lot bigger than I thought. Like, he's half the size of a traditional, which I think is really cool. Then we have Let the Good Times Roll, and I got the glossy long mane and tail variation. The split for this run was a matte braided mane and tail, which I absolutely hated. I do not like the braided mane and tail in this mold, so I got to pick one out, and they are in brown paper bags, so you don't know what you're getting. But I managed to pull the one that I wanted the most, so I was really, really excited about that. Now on to my 2 surprise horses. The first one I pulled was the Matte Silver Bay. The surprise horse this year was on the Totalist mold. I have never had one on the Totalist mold before, so I was a little skeptical. I was also really sad there was no Appaloosa variant this year, and usually they do one. The Silver Bay definitely was my favorite though, so I'm happy to have him, even if it's just in matte. I think he's really nice. The shading is really well done, and his eyes are gorgeous. And then I also managed to pull a glossy for the 2nd year in a row, and I pulled the Glossy Gray. He is not my cup of tea, so he has already been sold and will be shipped off to his new home this week, but I wanted to go ahead and share him in my haul because I did pull him. He's absolutely stunning. I just am not a fan of dapple grays. I think he looks a little fish scaly to me, but that's my opinion. And now I'm going to talk about what I got in the Breyerfest store. So we decided to go into the store on Saturday. The lines on Friday were absolutely crazy, and it was really hot on Friday, so we were like, maybe we'll try to go like Saturday morning, and so we ended up waiting in line for about an hour, a little over an hour, to get into the store. And I did find some things that I liked, unfortunately for my wallet. So I did pick up Cash, which is the essay contest winner portrait horse that they turned into a regular run. He's really nice. I did look through about 25 of them to find one that I really liked with nice shading. He has a small mark up here, but it's not super noticeable, and he was the nicest one that I saw, so I decided to pick this one up. I also got the Advent calendar. So they did a Mini Winnie 12 Days of Breyer 75th Anniversary Advent Calendar. Here's the back of it. So it shows a couple that are in there. I have been like recently getting into Mini Winnies, and I think they're really cute. And I saw them tease this Advent calendar, but it's never gone up on the site. And so when I saw it in the store, I actually made my husband buy it for me as a birthday gift. So I'm really excited to open that up and see what is in there. I also bought 2 of the Best of Breyerfest Staplemates. So while I was looking, there was a girl who was also looking through them, just trying to find the best ones. And so I bought one for this year, and she goes, oh, wait a minute, this one is from last year. And I was like, what? And I didn't buy last year's, and I kind of regretted it. So she handed it to me because she didn't want it. She already had it. And it was a really nice copy, so I got all of those. So first I'll show last year's set. I don't know their names, but I do really like them. I'm a huge Stablemate person. That's the scale I prefer. I know this is Mini Bonaire, who was a raffle model on the Loping Quarter Horse mold. I think this is the only one I know. I think this guy is really cool. He's a glossy Appaloosa fighter. Just really well done. This little warm blood. I did see a picture of the actual horse this is modeled after on Facebook the other day, and it was really cool to see that because I believe he was a live auction piece or a raffle. And then this one on the Cobb mold. I love the spots on his belly. I think those are really nice. And then this year's set, I looked through probably about 15 to find one I liked. With a flashlight because I wanted to make sure I was getting the best copies, as these are going to be show horses for me. So here is the Cassidy. I'm not the biggest fan of these types of dapples, these star dapples, but I have a Cassidy Conga, so I felt like I had to get her. I am, however, very much a fan of this girl on the American Saddlebred mold. I have a small American Saddlebred Conga. I started with my first Breyerfest. I got Emmy, who was one of the single day stablemates that year. So I kind of just had a very small Conga on that mold. Then we have the one on the Fjord pony. Super cute. It's almost pearlescent. Like, I don't know if that'll pick up in the camera, but he's almost pearlescent, which I think is really cool. And all of them have like really nice eyes. I like eye whites on my stablemates. I know some people think it looks cartoony, but I actually like it. I feel like it adds like a little depth of character. And then the mini Smart Chick, I believe this is based off of Parfait, which was a volunteer model. A lot of people don't like the mini Smart Chick Alina mold. I think he's cute, so I had to have him in my collection. And then the Standing Thoroughbred. I think this one is based off Saban, which was a raffle or an early bird raffle. But again, I'm not 100%, so don't quote me on that. But I wanted all of these for my collection. I also picked up a few non-horsey things from the store. So I got this Hats Off to You sticker, this Horse Girl Summer sticker, and the Cheers to 75 Years lapel pin. And before we move on to my Clarion finds, I do want to show my celebration horse. So this is Tight Lines or Fish. I'm not a fan of the cigar mold. I said that in my opinions video. However, I did get one with a lot of flea bites. So he's got a lot of like dark speckling on him compared to some of the lighter ones I saw. So I'm actually pleasantly surprised that I like him. So he's cute. He will be sticking around. I think I'm going to turn my second one into a shadow box or something like that, because I did get some bracelets and trinkets from trading with people this year. So now I'm going to go into my Clarion finds, which is probably the most exciting thing for me. I love shopping at the Clarion. We went Friday around 4 o'clock and we did not leave until 8:30, 9 o'clock. So we were shopping for almost 5 hours. Had a really good time. I did some pickups, so I sold some of my horses that I was looking to get rid of. So I did some pickups there. I did do a trade for this one. So I pulled 3 Appaloosa Gambler's Choices this year, and I was able to find a trade for the paint horse. So I'm just looking for the Dapple Gray now. Hopefully I will find another trade for him. And then this guy was one I always saw growing up. He is from 2006. I don't remember his name, but my husband bought him for me because he was always one of those ones when I was a child that I was like, oh man, it would be so cool to have him. I don't have any on this mold, and he is ginormous, especially compared to like Tight Lines. He is huge, but he's super cute. He has really nice shading and some little speckling. And he was new in box, and so I picked him up, and he was only $25. So my husband was very happy to pay that price. My first big purchase of the night, since I bought mostly Stablemates, was a Dark Horse surprise. I bought the Matte Appaloosa. Obsessed. I have always wanted this horse. Of course, I'd love to have it in glossy, but that's a little bit out of my price range. So when I saw this guy for $125, I could not help but pick him up. I think he's absolutely stunning. I can't wait to track down a glossy one someday, but for now, I am content with the matte one, and I'm really happy with him. Some of my smaller purchases, I bought this new in package. It was a all-tech, like Normandy, France eventing thing. I conga the Cantering Warm Blood mold, and I did not have this one, so this will be coming out of the packaging, which kind of hurts my heart a little bit, but I do want her up there with the conga. And she was a really great price. My husband also bought her for me. And then a 2020 single day stablemate. This one is Jersey. Yeah, that's what his bag says. My husband also bought this for me. He was $12 in the same room as this one, and I just couldn't pass it up. I think he's really cute. He's like this really pretty chestnut, glossy, and I just think he's absolutely adorable. And he came with his bag, so I'm always excited to see when they come with their original packaging. I'm someone who likes to keep that. I know a lot of people don't, but I really like to keep it. Going on the trend of single day stablemates, I bought a Mappa, which is from Breyerfest 2016, which was my second Breyerfest. I have Bahia in Sao Paulo from that year, and I'm trying to complete my set. So the next one up is Para, so hopefully I can find him in the next couple of years. But on that little warm blood mold, I think he's really cute. His face marking is really nice, so I was excited to find him. Then I went into a room that had stablemates in little plastic bags, just all like on like one of those pegboards. And so I looked through every single bag because I'm a little crazy when it comes to that. But I did get to come home with some horses I've been looking for a while. So I found this little pony, and she was only $5, and so she'll go with my conga. I know I still need to film a collection tour. It is coming. I just got demotivated before Breyerfest, so hopefully now I'll have the motivation to film one after Breyerfest. Then I found this little laying down foal. She's really cute. I just really like this mold. It's one I always liked growing up, so I'm kind of sentimentally attached to it. And then I found another one, so I picked this one up as well. Both super cute. I always love adding to my stablemate foal congas. You'll see with the next three that I really did add. So I found this little paint horse on the standing foal mold. I think this mold is my biggest stablemate full conga, so always excited to add more to that. So I actually added 3. So I added this little buckskin paint horse, really cute. And the lady cut me a deal. She said the foals were all $3 a piece, so I ended up picking up an extra one. I'm not sure if I have this one already. If I do, that's okay, not a big deal. This one looks LSQ, so that's fine by me. So I got a really good deal on all those, and I was really excited. My first purchase of the night was this mini Salem. So this is on the Fjord mold. I've recently fallen in love with this stablemate mold. I think it's really cute. Trying to track down the Gambler's Choice Stablemate Club on those molds is really hard. I tracked down an Appaloosa for a really good price, one that I was willing to pay. But I haven't been able to find the other ones at a reasonable price. So maybe someday, but for now I came home with him. I also tracked down a mini Twilight Terror. I was so excited when I saw this one. Like I said earlier, I conga the Cantering Warm Blood Mare mold, and this girl has been on my list forever. She is clearware, which is awesome. I had no idea. And this was the only one I saw in the entire hotel, and she was $40, so I just went ahead and picked her up. So I'm really excited to add her to my shelf. This one was probably one of the most exciting stablemate purchases. This is Wolfgang from the Breyer Stablemates Club 2017. He is getting increasingly harder and harder to find. So when I saw him, I immediately snapped him up. This was also, I didn't see a single other one in the Clarion, but he is just this gorgeous leopard Appaloosa, black and white. And I'm really excited to have him in my collection. The single day stablemates this year were all very cute to me, but I did not get a chance to buy a 4-pack, and I did not like Bellini, so I did not want Bellini. So I managed to track down 2 of them at the Clarion. So the first I tracked down was Mimosa on the Indian Pony mold. She's super cute, and I only paid $20 for her, which I was really excited about. And she came with her cute little packaging. And then I tracked down Kava as well. He was 25, and he is stunning. This is one of the nicest copies I've ever seen. So he will be going in my show string when I get back to showing. And he came with his box as well. I tied them all back up so they would store easier. And then I actually bought a ticket for this one because I wanted Prosecco, but the only one I saw in the Clarion was $50, and a ticket at the gate was $40. So on Saturday, I bought an extra ticket and I went and got Prosecco. He was my favorite of the bunch, so I really, really wanted him, and I'm really glad I was able to pick him up and take him home. And here is his packaging. So I have a few more finds from the Clarion. I'll start with this one. This is Avatar's Jazzman, and he is actually chalky, so you can tell by the stripe on his face. It was actually painted white. It's not just bare plastic, which is really interesting that they chose to do that. At least that's what the lady told me. And you can see kind of the edges on his legs where there is paint. He's a really nice copy. I like the flash mold, so I'm partial to it. So I was really excited to pick him up, and he was only $25, which was great for my wallet. And then we were looking, I saw in a room in Appaloosa Girls Run the World Surprise from last year, a matte one for $110. And I said, oh, that's a great deal. I should, probably buy that. And then I was like, I don't know. And so we went around, and I kept seeing them at like $150, $175. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go back and buy that one. And it had sold. And I was so devastated. And so my husband and I got in line for the Artisans Gallery and the swap meet. And I told him, I said, if you find one for like $120 or less, let me know. Because I had to go and drop something off to someone in the Artisans Gallery. And I was able to rejoin him in line after doing that. And so we accidentally split up in the Artisans Gallery. And I get a text that says, come here, in all caps. And he had found one for $100 on a table. And I bought it immediately. So this is the horse I was looking for. I am so excited. This was my favorite colorway last year and the one I really wanted to come home with. But I did not pull her, and I was really sad about it. But I was happy to pay $100 for her, so now she has a spot in my collection. And then my husband left the swap meet because he was getting a little overwhelmed. There were so many people in there, and it was so hot. And so I continued to look for myself, and I found a set that I have always wanted. And it was at a price that I could not pass up. And so I actually got a little bit of an adrenaline rush because there was another girl interested in it as well, but then she walked away. And I told the woman at the table, I said, I will take it. I want it. And so I came home with the Color Crazy Secession in the Fire Marinful set, the Sabino version. I have no words. I almost cried. I have wanted this set for forever. I remember seeing them growing up, and I always wanted them, and I've always wanted models on this mold. I just think they're so cute and they're so unique, and Breyer rarely does stuff with them anymore. And I'm just thrilled to have them in my collection. I can't wait to put them on the shelves. So that is my Breyerfest 2025 haul. I can't wait to see everybody else's, but thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.